Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Judith and this is Urban Wanderlust. I make videos all about the behind the scenes journey of running a candle business right from my home studio. And if you're an OG, welcome back. So today we're jumping into part 2 of our Q&A. You guys had so many questions the first time. That video was about 30 minutes. I'll link it here. If you didn't see it, go watch that one first and then come back to this one. We're gonna try to keep this one within a nice, short and sweet timeline. So let's get right into it. But before we do, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. So the first question is, I love to see how you organize yourself at pop-ups. I feel like I'm so unorganized. Well, luckily for you, Danielle, I just filmed a how I pack and set up for pop-ups video, which was the video right before this one. So I'll link it here. Go watch that. I'm not going to spend too much time on that topic here because I already covered it. Watch that video and then come back. Next question is, I am new to candle making, so I'm in the researching step. How did you decide on vessels and wax? There are so many waxes and vessels, it's easy to be overwhelmed. I'm starting with a paraffin, but I would like to transition to a natural wax. Personally, I've never worked with a paraffin, so I can't really speak to that. I've always worked with soy because I wanted to work with something very natural and clean, so I went with that. Plus, it was a very popular option. Coconut wasn't really within my radar back then, but I am wanting to experiment with that now. When I first started, I actually started with 464, which is a very popular choice of wax right now. A lot of people may not like that wax because when it dries, it's very bumpy and lumpy on the top, but that's because it's a very natural raw wax. And a lot of soy waxes dry like that. So if you're not used to that, then you may not want to. You may want to blend your soy with a little bit of coconut, which is creamier and smoother. How did you decide on your vessel? When you're choosing your vessel, you definitely want to go with something that speaks to you and to your brand. I chose an apothecary jar because I was going for a very clean, minimal, boho type of feel. Also, when you're choosing a vessel, you want to make sure that there are multiple suppliers that carry your vessel, because if you go with a jar that's so rare, only one place has it, if they sell out, then you're shit out of luck, basically. So make sure that there are multiple suppliers that carry it, because if supplier A sells out, you can go to supplier B and C and still get your jars. So that's something to think about also. Next question, how long did you take to test your candles? Well, I started selling my candles on Etsy in 2017, and I think I took about a year and a half to test all my candles. And by testing, you're testing your jars, you're testing your wicks, you're testing your formula. And by formula, I mean your pouring temperatures, your temperature that you add your fragrance oils in, your fragrance loads. Your fragrance loads are your percentages that you're using across all of your candles. There's so much testing that goes involved, and every time you launch a new fragrance, you want to test that fragrance too, because you never know how that fragrance is going to act within your wax. So you always want to test. I've been making candles for 4.5 years now, and I'm constantly testing new fragrances, different wicks to try to perfect something. And it wasn't until recently I found the perfect recipe for making candles for me. So you have to find your own, and that takes years of testing. This question is kind of a two-part. It said, what made you start a YouTube channel, and do you feel that it's worth it? And have you ever sold on Etsy, or did you start with your own website from the start? I would love to hear your thoughts on which platform to start for a new candle business. I think that if you're a new candle business, definitely start on Etsy. Etsy is fantastic at marketing because they bring in their own clientele anyway, which is perfect for new makers. You don't have to do a lot of marketing because they do it on their end. So it's a fantastic stepping stool. Now, once you've solidified your audience and you've grown your followers to a point where you feel like you can transition to your own platform, I highly recommend that. I'm actually filming a video on why I left Etsy and went over to Shopify, which is the domain I have now. So stay tuned for that. Make sure that you're subscribed so you know when that video goes live, but I'm gonna go more into detail in that video. What made you start a YouTube channel? Well, I've always wanted my own YouTube channel, but I was always too shy and nervous about starting one. I was scared about what people were gonna think about me, what my friends were gonna say, were they gonna make fun of me. No one wants to be judged because the world is so harsh sometimes, but you gotta do what you want. This is something that I really wanted to do, so I kind of pushed myself out there, and Peter was really supportive about me starting the channel, and he kept telling me, oh, you're gonna do great, you're gonna be fantastic, but You have no idea how many times I have to retake the same scene because I mess up, I stutter, I stumble my words, which is probably why I never go live on Instagram or on YouTube. Maybe not yet, maybe later on in the future I will feel comfortable doing something like that. But for now, I'm comfortable recording myself where I know I can edit and redo everything 100 million times, which I probably have done with this video. Okay, so the next question is about wholesale. Do you charge for samples, and how big are your samples? Do you charge for shipping as well? For me, I offer tea light samples to test my candles, and for my perfumes and lip balms, I offer miniature sizes, and I do charge for them. You can either charge for the samples and give them free shipping, or have them pay for shipping and give them free samples. Whatever you choose, you wanna make sure that you are covering the costs of your samples. So for me, what I do, if they're requesting tea lights, I give them a set price, which includes my shipping, and I send them that. If they want something bigger than tea lights, then I offer them my 6-ounce jars at wholesale price. Okay, and the next question is, how far in advance do you make your videos? In other words, do you batch your content? I find that batching is going to be the way for me so that I can ensure that I'm taking a break and so that I don't burn out. Also, which platform do you feel has worked best for you for marketing yourself? Right now, I want to use YouTube and Instagram. I eventually want to add TikTok, but it's all so much. How do you manage? So when I first started YouTube, I wasn't batching any of my content. So I was filming as the ideas came to me. Now I'm batching them where I'm filming 2 videos at a time. So for example, today I'm filming 2 videos. I'm filming this Q&A, and then right after this, I'm going to film my Why I Left Etsy video. So this is how I batch my content so that I'm able to have more free time to hang out with the baby and with Peter, of course. I also suggest that if you have IG and if you have TikTok and you're trying to promote yourself there, that you batch content for that as well. There are plenty of planning platforms that you can use so that you can rearrange your IG grid. I personally use Plan Preview, which allows me to edit my photos and pre-write my captions, so I have everything set up for the week, and then on Monday I post, Tuesday I post, and I'm ready to just hit post on everything. If you're able to film multiple videos in one day, then go ahead and do that for your IG Reels and your TikToks. Change your outfit multiple times a day so that you can continue to record everything as much as you can. If you have a free moment and you have the energy, go ahead and do that, because that's going to be your best marketing tool. Right now, for me personally, Instagram is working the best for marketing my business. There's so many things that you can do. IG Reels are really hot right now and is super trending. So if you can film a lot of content for that, do that as well. They also have paid ads that you can do. I personally have only done a few of them, but I don't feel as though it worked that much. I've done it around the holidays like Christmas and special holidays like that. I do get a couple sales from that, and it has worked a couple times, but I just feel like just being yourself and posting and doing IG Reels, I think that's enough. But if you feel comfortable paying for the ads, you can definitely do that. And within the ads on IG, there's different things you can do. You can pay to have people go to your website and check that out, or you can pay to bring people to your Instagram page so that they can just see what you're about. I feel like that kind of worked more for me because I gained a lot of followers as opposed to bringing people to my website, because what that does is just drives traffic to your website, but they're not always driven to buy something. TikTok is super hot right now. Also, it can get overwhelming trying to create original content. And I know what a lot of people do is that they download the TikTok videos and then post it on Instagram. You can't do that. But if you have the same followers across all platforms, you might want to make something different for each one of those platforms. That's where things can get a little bit exhausting, which is why it's such a good idea to record multiple things in one day, because you can maybe post one on TikTok and the other on Instagram. So that's going to be it for today, guys. I'm not going to make this video super long. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.